Never-Ending Chain by Dragon Translator. Chapter 52. A Truth Found Out. They found Stoic and the Change-Wing King facing an irate bear's pit. Hiccup groaned as they landed. He knew what the man was mad about. "Me cage, Chief! They done stole me cage! Your boy no more than a thief! I demand satisfaction, Chief!" Stoic's eyes narrowed. Hiccup watched his father's hand clench. Hiccup quickly dismounted Toothless and rushed to stand between his father and Bear's Pit. He held up his hands in a placating manner. "I'm sorry about your cage, Bear's Pit. We needed a way to secure the chief's boot stinger, so we could get them all off the island. You were stung, so we couldn't ask, but your cage was the only thing we had to put him in." Bear's Pit stared down at Hiccup. "Where is me cage now, thief?" Hiccup heard many growls and recognized two came from humans. He did not turn his gaze from Bear's Pit, though he appreciated his father and Astrid's obvious hatred of Bear's Pit's choice of words. Still, he had to answer the man. He did owe it to Bear's Pit to tell him the truth. "It shattered while we were moving the dragon. I'm sorry. I can build you another one." Bear's Pit's eyes narrowed. "How long?" Hiccup frowned. "If we have clear weather, 2 weeks from now. Gobber and I will have back orders to get to, and it's still my job to keep the nail and hinge baskets full." "You stole it. You broke it. You ain't gonna fix it for that." "I can't jump the back order, Bear's Pit. You know that." Bear's Pit snarled. "You useless." Astrid stood between Hiccup and Bear's Pit. Hiccup not even seeing her move. Her axe rested against Bear's Pit's throat. Toothless. The non-mated female Night Fury moved to the other side of Astrid, keeping Hiccup behind Astrid. Hiccup heard a squawk and saw Stormfly move over and lift her tail, spikes extended. He heard Sharpshot hiss and leap to Toothless's saddle, placing his front paws upon Toothless's head and snarling at Bear's Pit. Sneaky, also snarling, sat upon Astrid's shoulder. "Walk away!" Toothless snarled, his wings lifting and unfurling slightly. "Or be carried away. Your choice, human." Bear's Pit stepped back, but looked over Toothless's wing at Stoic. "You allowed this assault, Chief?" "They be the only reason you went thrown over the cliff, Bear's Pit." Stoic snarled. "Hiccup is my son, and no thief. If he have need of your cage to save this island, and all who live here, he can take it. He offered you a replacement. You chose to insult him. I suggest you wait for it in your home, or you can wait for it in the jail. You weaken!" A hand appeared upon Bear's Pit's shoulder. Bear's Pit spun, fell. Steinar, the helmsman that brought Hilda and her family home, and the heir to Shivering Shores, stared down upon the man. "Terribly sorry," Steinar said, shifting his gaze to his hand. "Me mother forever telling me I know my own strength." "You're unhurt, right? Snow seems soft enough to keep you from injury." Bear's Pit stared up at the man, then looked to Stoic. Stoic must not have acted as Bear's Pit wanted, because he stood, turned, and walked away. Steinar watched him for several heartbeats, before turning and staring at all the dragons. The man crossed his arms over his chest, his gaze pouring straight into Hiccup's. "There be more to your tale than you gave, young Hiccup," Steinar said. "I have dogs. Loyal. Love 'em. Raised 'em from pups. They would die for me. None would do what these dragons have done. Your dragons worked like posted guards in that cove, with shifts and reliefs, just like my father's warriors trained for their job. They be obeying you like you're their king. I heard the noises when them dragons help us out of that cove and back into the village. They weren't the noises of just animals. Them dragons were talking to each other." Hiccup turned, looking up at his father. Stoic placed a hand on Hiccup's shoulder and nodded his head. "It be your choice, son. I'll stand by what you decide. I will say, I trust him
as I trust his father.
Hiccup took a deep breath.
We need Gida here.
I shall get her, brother, Sharpshot said, flaring his wings and rising off Toothless's saddle. Steinar watched for a moment, then turned to Hiccup.
That dragon spoke to you, didn't it? It offered itself to obey your request.
He, Hiccup said.
Sharpshot is a he, and he and Toothless are more than just my dragons. They are my brothers.
Steinar's eyebrow lifted.
You call them brothers?
Like battle brothers?
Hiccup shook his head. More than that. They are my brothers.
Steinar's mouth opened, but Gida, with Sharpshot on her shoulder and Shadowfire beside her, walked up the hill, stopping halfway. Hiccup frowned until the Changewing King chittered, and a ring of Changewings appeared in front of Gida, Sharpshot and Shadowfire. Two moved aside, and as soon as the three were in the circle, the two dragons closed the gap. Hiccup noted that Steinar watched everything. Is something wrong? Gida asked. Hiccup slipped between his father and Toothless's wingtip and walked over to her.
Steinar is the heir to the Shivering Shores, he whispered. He's here to give a non-Burkian voice in the thing about our dragons. He suspects they can talk. Dad says he trusts him.
Do you? Gida asked, her voice low. Hiccup paused. That his father trusted him gave weight. That the man came to stay a winter with no idea what he was getting into, just because Burke and the Shivering Shores were long-standing allies, and the chief wished to help Burke in the upcoming thing, gave more weight. Hiccup also felt no ill will in letting the man know. Not like when he contemplated Mildew getting his memories back. In fact, Hiccup felt his gut resting peacefully at the thought.
Yes.
Gida tipped her head. Then I shall unlock his ability if he wishes, she whispered. Hiccup turned, finding Steinar watching them, his arms still crossed. Hiccup took another deep breath and walked over to stand before the air. Steinar straightened, his arms falling to his sides.
You were right,
Hiccup said, looking up at the man.
There is more to the story, but it's something we hold close because of what it could imply for everything and everyone if it was widely known.
Steinar looked down in silence.
I give me word of honour, Hiccup Arendis Alec III, as Viking and as heir to my father's seat. I will keep your secret from those who need not know. He sighed. My father will need to know if it is what it is I expect it to be.
Hiccup sighed.
We plan to address the thing and see who could handle the truth of the dragons and what really happened when Toothless and I killed that Red Death. I already knew your father would be one who would be able to handle that truth. He has always been kind to me whenever I visited, and is honourable.
Steinar cut his gaze at Stoic.
My father and I never did feel you be what some of the others say you were, young Hiccup.
Hiccup smiled.
First of all, you were also right. The dragons were talking to each other, and they talk to us. Dragons aren't animals, or monsters. They are living beings who have a culture and laws and have leaders and followers. Families, friends, all just like us.
Hiccup paused and gestured to Gida.
She is a mage. She's the reason we know all of this. She unlocked our ability to understand the dragons.
Steinar blinked.
Volva, he whispered, but none were ever here.
Hiccup tilted his head. He knew that word from lore lessons from Gothi, but his understanding of them had been from lore from Viking tribes on the mainland far to the south. He never thought to associate Gida's magic with those women, mostly because Gida had stated she was a mage while standing in her dining hall, for one, and she was not old enough for another. I am a mage, sir, Gida said, nothing more and nothing less. I have pledged my life in service to Hiccup, as he has saved my life.
Steinar blinked again. He saviour?
I, a man of noble birth back home, sought to coerce my allegiance. He put things in place that got my father killed, and I feared my refusal would drive him to kill me. Hiccup saved my life, and thus I owe him my life. Hiccup felt relief flood him. With that explanation, Gyda's origins could remain a tribe secret. Knowing a mage lived was one thing. Knowing that a mage came from the future was entirely another thing.
You have to use magic to unlock the ability, don't you?
Steinar asked.
Yes, Hiccup said. It's called the Common Tongue. It allows us to understand the dragon's noises, and lets them understand us. You brought her to unlock me ability? If you want, Hiccup said. I would never force you to do anything you don't want to do. I will say our own elder, Gothi, has stated Gyda's place in the tribe is the will of the gods, as is the fact the island now has dragons living upon it.
Steinar grew quiet, and still. He stared at Hiccup, then Gyda, then the others standing around. His face took on one of understanding.
I knew it, he said. I knew I did not imagine that dragon.
Hiccup frowned.
I'm sorry. What dragon?
Steinar took a deep breath and held out his arms. Hiccup looked down, and only because he saw his own scars from the battle with the Red Death, he did not flinch from the sight of the man's wrist. Marks that looked like shackles had eaten into flesh scarred the undersides of both of Steinar's wrists. Steinar twirled them, and Hiccup realised why he gave him the side of his hand when he had back in the Great Hall. The marks almost encircled both wrists. Hiccup looked up at Steinar.
I be captured when I be no more older than you, young Hiccup. My father sent us out against some tribe thinking they could be taking our home from us. Dead tribe be no more. A dragon no bigger than that terror be what helped me escape. In me anger at the capture, I killed their chief, and the chief second. My father and many warriors arrived for the other men of the tribe try anything. My father gave them one chance. Surrender, or they would all be killed. They surrendered. Dad believed me about the dragon, but no one else. Steinar looked at Gyda. Unlock my ability. I forever wanted to thank that dragon, but never found him again. I want to ask them if they know who it be.
Gyda, in response, looked at Hiccup. He nodded. Gyda tipped her head and stepped closer to Steinar. Please, hold still, she said, lifting her hands. Steinar froze. Hiccup watched as Gyda placed her hands upon either side of Steinar's head, and whispered words Hiccup did not understand. Steinar flinched, but remained where he stood. Gyda lowered her hands and stepped back. She gestured, and Shadowfire lifted his head until his muzzle was even with Gyda's shoulder. Hi, he said. Steinar's eyes widened. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I really like this one. Steinar's a good character, and I love how open-minded he is, and how kind he is to Hiccup. And the fact that he's not judging and is going through all the correct channels. He's doing everything right. I like him very much. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.